This is what's happening inside of a launch. And then from that point of the launch, we have the promotional period, right? And the promotional period can look a lot of different ways. Generally speaking, somewhere between 5 to 10 days after whatever the launch event is, whatever the video series is, the webinar, or whatever it might be. And generally, what this would look like, make it more specific for you, is let's say there's the promotional window. My fingers are going faster than my mind's going faster than my fingers right now. So generally, I would do 1 to 2 emails a day, 1 to 2 social posts a day. Okay. And then towards the end, I would up that to 3 to 4 emails a day. And then everyone that signs up for your launch, I would be doing 1 email a day, getting them excited. Okay. So for people who signed up. All right. And so then before, let's say it's a webinar, or it's the launch, or it's the 2 p.m. on Thursday, is the first session. If it's a webinar, I'm always going to send 4 to 6 emails, right, 24 hours in advance to make sure that people actually sign up. Now, let's say I'm doing a 5-day video series, and I'm going to do 3 emails a day for the 5 days. All right. 1 in the very morning, 1 an hour before, and then 1 to be able to recap it. In the promotional timeline, the 24 hours after the end of whatever the launch was, I'm always wanting to do 4 emails. That's that moment where you're going to be able to get the momentum from someone coming back and looking at it, and so on and so forth. And then generally speaking, 1 to 2 emails a day. Now, again, if I say emails, I'm a big believer of SMS, a big believer of social media, all those different types of things. Email has proven incredibly well. I've made 80% of the revenue I've made over the last decade has come from email. Yes, I use social media. Yes, I use YouTube. Yes, I use all these types of things. But in terms of the direct place that someone clicks and pushes a button and gives me money, it's email. All right. So I do 1 to 2 emails a day in that promotional in the last 48 hours. As many emails as you can with still being able to look yourself in the mirror at the end. That's the best way I put it. You want more money, send more emails. All right. So, and then of course, if you want to do a downsell, you can do a downsell. My audience doesn't perform well with downsell, so I don't do it. But the different audiences, my audience is very entrepreneur focused, a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more savvy. Downsells don't do that well for me. But less sophisticated audiences do better with downsells than more sophisticated audiences generally. So then the question is, okay, sweet. I got all this stuff. And here's what it looks like. All right. So I know I'm probably going to need ads. I'm going to need social posts. I'm going to need emails. I'm going to need signed up emails. I'm going to need promotional emails. I'm going to need SMS. I'm going to need, what else do we need? I'm going to need a landing page. I'm going to need a thank you page. I'm going to need, if I'm doing a video series pages, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Now, when it comes to utilizing AI, I'm not going to go into, hey, you should use this tool over that tool, over this tool, over this model, over that model, because by the time that this session is actually watched, everything I say is going to be completely wrong. Here's really the simple piece of it, okay? Which is whenever you're building marketing, what you want to do first is build the launch event, okay? So let's say I'm doing a webinar. So I would build the webinar, okay? And then what I would do is I would record a transcript of a version of what I'm going to talk about, right? So it doesn't have to be the full webinar. It's going to be 2 hours. Let's say the whole webinar is 2 or 3 hours. It can be like 20 minutes. I'm going to record that whole transcript, okay? And then I would assume, if you haven't already, I would make sure that you go to ChatGPT or Claude or whatever and give it a bunch of your writing in the past and give it that transcript and be like, hey, can you give me a tone and style and anti-AI copy guide and guidelines, right? So now you have a transcript, you have the tone and style guide, and then you're going to basically go, and you could probably even give it a transcript of this and say, okay, hey, listen, I need a landing page and I need a thank you page. And that's the first thing you build, all right? Landing page, thank you page, and you build it from the transcript of the web. And then you go and say, okay, sweet. The next thing I'm going to build are all the emails. And the emails I'm going to build first are the promotional emails, okay? And what you're going to do is, generally speaking, you're going to say, hey, listen, I want to write 12 emails and here's some stories, here's some value. And you can either do that from content you've already created or, again, video, voice transcript and give it to them. All right. So you got the promotional emails. Then you're going to write the actual sale emails. All right. And then after you've done that, now you're going to do the kind of like show up emails and make sure people are engaged. All right. So like making sure that actually come. And the reason we do it in this way, of course, is because now the AI model, if it's writing for you, understands and knows why somebody should actually be coming to this webinar or to the launch event. Now, once we've built all this, we basically built everything else, right? So if you have social posts, you can be like, hey, now build social posts from this. If you have ads, hey, now build ads. The thing with ads, hey, if I'm doing warm retargeting, you got to make sure that you tell, hey, I'm doing warm retargeting. These people already know who I am. I don't have to prove to them who I am. Here's just to make sure that you have reference. Here's the landing page. Here's the thank you page. Here's the webinar script. And here's the promotional emails. Make sure you build 50% of the ads with value focused and 50% conversion focused. All right. And then let's say you're doing retargeting ads, what somebody's actually in. You say, hey, we're doing retargeting ads to people that are in the launch that are directing them to the sales page. And let's go story and value based. And let's not go super hardcore fast lane conversion based, just so that we're in a place where they're buying from curiosity and they're not buying because I'm just yelling at them. Okay. And then, of course, you build whatever landing page and put it on whatever software that you put it on. I'm not here to tell you what tools to use and not use. I don't really care. In this way, you should be able to build with AI now. You should be able, let's say you don't even have any content. You should be able to build the entire launch minus, let's say, doing the live video or doing the recorded video, whichever way you go, without like just the copy, just the content of the whole launch. Doing this 4 hours maximum. Add in probably maybe another like 4 hours of the technology. And then what you simply do is you just ask AI to build an SOP and a structure and a guide for the future. And then you just, for all intents and purposes, say, hey, instead of talking about, let's say, in for business, instead of talking about launches, we're going to talk about funnels. But funnels and launches are the same. It's just two different ways of being able to talk about the same thing. And so as you, each time you do a launch, it's the same thing. You're just hitting a different angle, right? So and this way you can do a launch every a couple times a month. And then you just decide, okay, you know what? Sometimes we do cold launches. Sometimes we do warm only launches. Sometimes we do cold plus warm. And sometimes we do partnership or sponsorship launches. And the idea of this is that each launch is optimized differently because the flow and the emails of going to a completely cold audience is going to be different than a warm audience. The way that I sell is going to be different to cold versus warm. And it changes in that way.
If you want to watch the entire episode, click here. And if you want to watch more episodes like this, click here.